Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into the fascinating science behind the beverage almost all of us rely on literally just to kickstart our day. You know the drill. You wake up, stumble into the kitchen with one eye closed, and brew a pot. It's a ritual deeply ingrained in our global culture. But what's actually happening inside your body the second you take that very first sip? So, we're going to explore a pretty massive question. Is that daily cup of joe just a guilty pleasure, a crutch for the sleep-deprived, or is it actually a scientifically backed preventative health tool? Because as you'll see, decades of research have completely shifted the medical consensus on coffee. We've moved from viewing it as a suspected health hazard to realizing it's a remarkably potent superfood. Here is our agenda for today's explainer. Number 1, the naked truth about coffee. Number 2, immediate perks for brain and metabolism. 3, protecting your heart and liver. 4, fighting cancer and chronic disease. 5, the dark side and potential risks. And finally, number 6, finding your perfect daily dose. Okay, section 1, the naked truth about coffee, the nutritional baseline. Let's dive right in by stripping away the milk, the cream, the sugary syrups, and the whipped toppings to look at pure, unadulterated black coffee. Pure black coffee is literally a nutritional blank canvas. Looking at the numbers for an 8-ounce serving, it has virtually 0 calories, just 2 to be exact, and absolutely 0 fats, carbs, or sugars. It's a completely different ballgame from those calorie-loaded cafe drinks that masquerade as coffee. So when we talk about all these incredible health benefits today, we are specifically talking about this pure profile. Because, let's be real, dumping loads of sugar or saturated fat into your mug immediately offsets a lot of the metabolic advantages we're about to get into. Moving on to section 2, immediate perks, brain and metabolism. Let's see how this blank canvas translates into the immediate mental and physical boosts you feel right after that first morning sip. First off, black coffee acts as a massive metabolic booster. The caffeine speeds up a bodily process called thermogenesis. Think of it like turning up your body's internal thermostat. It's how your body naturally burns fat to produce heat. By triggering this, black coffee actually helps you burn calories way more efficiently. Plus, it acts as a mild appetite suppressant to curb those mid-morning cravings. Honestly, this is exactly why you see caffeine as a primary ingredient in so many weight management supplements. But right here in your mug, you're getting it in its most natural, antioxidant-rich form. But it's not just physical, it's heavily mental. Beyond just waking you up, the caffeine stimulates your central nervous system in ways that literally elevate your mood. It bumps up the production of neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, the chemicals associated with feeling happy and dialed in. In fact, the research points to black coffee acting as a natural antidepressant by reducing inflammation in the brain. And hey, if you're heading to the gym, drinking black coffee beforehand spikes your adrenaline. It physically primes your muscles for exercise, improves fat oxidation, and noticeably reduces your overall fatigue. Talk about a pre-workout. Section 3, protecting your heart and liver. Let's shift our focus inward now and look at how this daily habit actively protects your internal organs over time. All right, we have to unlearn some old stigmas here. For the longest time, people totally believed coffee was bad for your heart just because it temporarily raises your heart rate. But the long-term reality? It's quite the opposite. Caffeine is actually a natural vasodilator. That means it prevents the muscles in your veins from tightening up, which, counterintuitively, takes the pressure off your heart and lowers blood pressure. On top of that, regular black coffee consumption can help lower your bad LDL cholesterol while bumping up the good HDL cholesterol, giving your whole cardiovascular system a compounding layer of defense. Now check out these numbers regarding your liver because they are wild. Coffee contains specific compounds, namely caffeine and cahool, that act like literal shields for your liver tissue against toxins. A massive Japanese study found a staggering 76% decrease in the risk of liver cancer for people drinking 5 or more cups a day compared to non-drinkers. And even if you stick to a more moderate 3 to 4 cups, you are still having your risk of liver disease and conditions like cirrhosis. It's just extraordinary, compounding cellular protection for an organ that works around the clock to detoxify your body. Section 4, fighting cancer and chronic disease. Let's pan all the way out now to look at how coffee defends the entire body against debilitating long-term illnesses. The real secret weapon hidden inside your mug is the incredibly high concentration of antioxidants, specifically things called polyphenols. Every single day, your body's cells undergo oxidative stress, right? That's what leads to cellular damage and mutations, which are the very precursors to cancer and chronic disease. Well, these polyphenols are basically your body's cellular repair crew. They are constantly working to neutralize free radicals, bring down systemic inflammation, and keep your cells functioning at their absolute best. Just look at these mind-blowing stats from a massive 12-year study out of Finland, a country that absolutely runs on coffee. Researchers looked at extreme coffee drinkers, folks putting away 10 or more cups daily. They found that men had a 55% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes, and women had an astonishing 79% lower risk compared to low consumers. Now, obviously, we definitely aren't recommending you start chugging 10 cups of coffee today, but this beautifully highlights the profound impact coffee's compounds have on managing insulin sensitivity and keeping blood sugar in check over a lifetime. Across the board, the preventative data is just incredibly compelling. First, on cancer risk. Women drinking 4 or more cups a day showed a 30% lower risk of endometrial cancer. That exact same amount drops the risk of malignant melanoma, the deadliest skin cancer, by 20%. Moving up to the brain, long-term studies show regular coffee drinkers have noticeably slower cognitive decline. That means active protection against neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. And maybe most surprisingly, a 10-year study of 86,000 women found a 50% lower risk of suicide for those drinking just 2 or more cups a day. That ties right back to those incredible mood-boosting neurotransmitters we talked about earlier. Section 5. The dark side. Potential risks. As with any powerful biological tool, we have to responsibly explore the limits here. It's really vital to contrast the mild, everyday side effects with the very real, serious risks for specific populations. Look, if you drink too much coffee generally, your body's going to let you know. You might get insomnia, the jitters, acid reflux, or a sudden spike in anxiety. But for certain groups, the stakes are definitely higher. Research shows that high caffeine intake can actually decrease a woman's chance of getting pregnant by over a third, and it noticeably increases the risk of low birth weight. For example, women taking estrogen-only hormone therapy or women over the age of 65 really need to carefully monitor their intake. Data from the Nurses' Health Study showed that women over 65 drinking 4 or more cups a day had a 3 times higher risk of hip fractures. On top of that, postmenopausal women on estrogen therapy who drank heavy amounts of coffee were actually twice as likely to develop Parkinson's, which totally flips the protective benefit we saw in the general population. So context absolutely matters. Finally, Section 6, finding your perfect daily dose. Let's bring all this fascinating data back down to earth and figure out exactly how much you should be brewing. The golden rule, agreed upon by the vast majority of medical research, is 3 to 4 cups a day. That equates to roughly 300 to 400 milligrams of caffeine. This specific dosage seems to be the absolute sweet spot, the Goldilocks zone, if you will, to maximize those incredible cardiovascular, cognitive, and cellular health benefits while successfully dodging the nasty side effects like dependency, anxiety, and sleep disruption. So, to properly apply the science from this explainer to your own life, just follow these 3 simple steps to optimize your daily ritual. First, choose high-quality beans. You want to make sure you're getting the maximum yield of polyphenols and antioxidants. Second, drink it purely black. Don't accidentally sabotage your metabolic health with pumps of refined sugar and heavy cream. And third, respect the half-life of caffeine. Consume your coffee in the morning or early afternoon so it is completely cleared from your system by the time your head hits the pillow. You've got to protect that restorative sleep. So, knowing what you know now, that your simple morning beverage isn't just a basic wake-up call, but a highly complex, life-extending health tool, how are you going to rethink your brew tomorrow morning? Are you finally going to ditch the sugar, or maybe add an extra cup to hit that optimal 3 to 4 cup range? The science is abundantly clear. When used correctly, black coffee is one of the easiest, most accessible ways to protect your long-term health. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and seriously, enjoy your next cup of coffee.